I want you to picture something for just a second. Like, really put yourself in this scenario.
Okay, I'm ready.
Imagine you are having a truly exhausting day at your office.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right. The phones are just constantly ringing. There is a loud, incredibly irritating conversation happening right behind your desk. And someone is reheating fish in the break room microwave.
Ugh, the absolute worst.
The sensory overload is just at its peak, and you are desperate for just a single moment of peace to actually get your work done.
Just a quiet corner somewhere.
Exactly. So you wander down a quiet hallway just to clear your head, and out of nowhere, you spot a door you have never noticed before.
Okay.
You open it up, and inside is this secret, pristine, perfectly quiet workspace. It is your own private sanctuary right in the middle of the chaos. You think you have hit the jackpot.
Like a hidden oasis. I love it.
But here is the twist. You go to show your work best friend this amazing new spot. You walk them down the hall, you point to the door, and they look at you like you belong in a hospital. Because where you see a perfect room, they just see a blank, solid wall.
It is the ultimate nightmare scenario.
It really is.
That you think you have found this brilliant life hack, and everyone else just thinks you're staring at drywall.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are looking at a case study known as The Architect of the Invisible Room.
Such a wild story.
It is. This is a deep dive that asks a genuinely terrifying question, which is, what happens when the reality you live in is completely invisible to the person sitting right next to you?
Yeah, that is the core of it.
Our mission today is to explore this wild workplace drama about a man named Björn, his mysterious hidden room, and what happens when your personal reality completely crashes into the reality of everyone around you.
It's basically spilling the tea on the most bizarre office scandal you can imagine.
Exactly. Keep in mind, this goes way beyond a simple workplace disagreement. It is a deep, unsettling look at the fragile nature of how we connect with people.
And the story really pulls you in because, at first, it starts off sounding almost like a quirky office comedy.
Right, like an episode of a sitcom.
Yeah, I mean, we have all wanted to escape our coworkers at some point.
Yeah.
But it very quickly spirals into a full-on psychological breakdown.
It really does. It gets so intense.
It forces us to ask how much of our world is actually real and how much is just, an illusion we build to protect ourselves.
So let's get a clear picture of who Björn is, because you cannot understand the room without understanding the man who found it.
That is so true. The context is everything here.
Björn is a quiet, somewhat socially awkward guy who is starting a brand new job at a government office.
And he walks in with some pretty heavy baggage.
Oh, absolutely. He walks through the doors on his first day with an incredibly high opinion of himself.
Yeah, he expects to perform flawlessly.
He expects to be recognized immediately as the star employee.
He sees himself as highly competent and, honestly, highly intelligent. In his mind, he is essentially better than everyone else in the building.
Which is a tough vibe to bring to a new job.
It is. He is entering this environment not to be part of a team, but to conquer it.
And the actual culture of the office hits him like a brick wall, and he absolutely despises it.
Because it's a very normal office, right?
Exactly. It's an informal, chatty workplace. People are social. They take coffee breaks. They talk about their weekends.
The horror.
Right. But his coworkers are polite to him, although they keep their distance. Because, if you walk into a room giving off the energy that you are the smartest person there, and everyone else is just wasting time,
People pick up on that immediately.
100%. They can feel the judgment. So Björn completely struggles to connect.
But he does not view this as a personal failure, which is the fascinating part.
No, not at all. He views the social aspect of work as beneath him. He convinces himself he's the only serious, dedicated person in the entire government agency.
And this setup is crucial for understanding the mechanism of what happens next.
Right, because the isolation starts early.
Exactly. Bjorn is completely isolating himself from day one, well before any mysterious rooms appear. We really need to look at the psychology of arrogance here.
Because it's covering up something else, isn't it?
Yes. Often, a superiority complex is actually a defense mechanism. It is a shield. Bjorn lacks the social skills to easily banter and fit in.
So it's easier to just reject everyone else first.
Exactly. Instead of feeling the pain of being an outcast, his brain flips the narrative. He tells himself he is not an outcast at all. He is a visionary.
Oh, wow. That is some serious mental gymnastics.
It is. He decides he's choosing to be alone because the people around him are simply not on his level.
It sounds exhausting, honestly. He is essentially punishing himself with isolation, but branding it as a victory.
Precisely. And that mindset perfectly primes him for what he discovers. He is desperate for physical proof that he is special and separate from the crowd.
Which brings us to the discovery. One day, Bjorn is walking through this office that he already deeply resents, and he notices a door.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. He opens it, and inside is this tiny, pristine, incredibly clean room.
Quiet.
Totally quiet. There is just a desk and a chair, no distractions, no chatty coworkers, no noise from the hallway, just pure focus.
It's his absolute dream scenario.
He starts using it to do his work, and he claims his productivity just skyrockets.
Naturally.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. Finding this room is like when you finally discover a completely empty coffee shop to study in, right?
Oh, that's a great feeling.
But imagine if it was magically hidden inside your own noisy office. It's bonkers.
The room provides him with exactly what he's been craving. It is not just a quiet place to type on a keyboard.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It physically represents his deepest psychological desire. It validates his superiority.
Because he's the only one who has it.
Right. By stepping into this room, he gets a physical space that reinforces his internal belief, which is, you are special, you are separate, you are better.
But, and this is the kicker, a superiority complex really needs an audience, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
A secret sanctuary is only satisfying until you realize nobody else knows how special you are. Wait, here's where it gets really interesting to me. If Bjorn is supposedly this super smart, highly efficient guy, why didn't he just keep his mouth shut?
That is the big question.
Right. Why even tell his coworkers about the secret room? Because if I found a magical, hidden, quiet room in my office, I would take that secret to the grave.
Oh, same here. I wouldn't tell a soul.
I just do not get why someone who claims to just want to put his head down and work would suddenly announce this to the people he actively dislikes.
Well, you are looking at it from the perspective of someone who just wants a quiet place to work.
Fair point.
Bjorn is operating on a totally different fuel. His ego demands an audience.
Ah, so it's a flex.
It is a massive flex. It is not enough for him to be productive in secret. He desperately needs his coworkers to know he has an advantage over them.
He wants them to be jealous.
He wants to parade this discovery in front of them to prove that he is more observant, more resourceful, and, fundamentally superior.
So he brings it up.
He does.
He casually mentions his amazing private office to his coworkers. And this is where the record scratches.
The turning point of the whole story.
The coworkers look at him, just completely baffled. They tell him there's no such room.
Not at all.
The door he is describing does not exist. They have worked in this government building for years, they know the floor plan, and they have never seen anything like it.
And Bjorn does what anyone would do when challenged on a physical fact, right?
Right? Tries to prove it.
Exactly. He walks them down the hallway to physically show them the room. He points to the spot.
And they see nothing.
Wow.
Literally nothing. Just a blank wall.
Yeah.
The humiliation of that moment has to be absolutely staggering.
It's completely shattering. Think of shared reality like a currency.
Okay, I like that.
We all agree a piece of paper with a president's face on it has a specific value, right? So it does. We use it to interact and trade.
Makes sense.
Shared reality works the exact same way. We all agree on the basic physical facts of our environment, which allows us to function together.
Like, we agree there's a water cooler here and a desk there.
Yes. But Bjorn decided to print his own money. In his mind, he is rich in focus and superiority.
But when he tries to spend that currency?
Exactly. When he tries to spend that currency with his coworkers, when he tries to show them the room, he is just handing them a blank piece of paper. The transaction fails completely.
Wow. And they realize he is not just the awkward new guy anymore.
No, it's just entirely.
They start to think he is genuinely unwell. This creates the first massive clash. What started as just a simple awkward distance turns into active tension and alarm.
Because Bjorn is confused, but insists the room is real.
And the coworkers are looking at a man pointing at drywall and talking about a desk.
At this stage, the social contract of the office is completely broken.
It's shattered.
Up until this point, the coworkers could tolerate his arrogance because, he was just doing his job. He was just the weird guy in the corner.
Right. But now...
Now, he is introducing a crack in their shared reality. It makes people deeply uncomfortable when someone insists on a truth that physically cannot be verified.
I mean, I would probably think I had a brain tumor. If I'm seeing a door and 3 other people are telling me it is a solid wall, I am going to a doctor.
That would be the logical next step.
I am getting my eyes checked. I am doing anything to figure out what is wrong with my brain. But Bjorn does not do that.
He does the exact opposite.
He doubles down. He starts spending almost all of his time in this room. He vanishes from his actual desk for hours at a time.
To understand why he does not question his own sanity here, we really have to look at how the human brain handles contradictory information.
Okay, let's get into it.
It is a psychological concept called cognitive dissonance.
I've heard of that, but how does it apply here?
Well, our brains absolutely hate the discomfort of holding two conflicting truths at the same time. Fact A is that Bjorn knows the room is real, he sits in it, he works in it.
Right.
But fact B is that nobody else can see it.
And those two facts cannot coexist peacefully.
Exactly. To accept fact B means accepting that he might be losing his mind, which would completely shatter his core identity as the smartest, most competent person in the room.
So his brain has to build a bridge between those two facts to protect his ego.
You nailed it. The brain deploys a protective mechanism. It invents a new, twisted logic to resolve the conflict without damaging his self-esteem.
Oh boy, what does he come up with?
Bjorn convinces himself of a wild new rule. The room absolutely does exist, but it operates on a special frequency.
A special frequency?
Yes. It is only visible to highly intelligent, exceptional people like him. Everyone else in the office, the coworkers, the managers, they're simply too blind, too average, or too incompetent to perceive it.
Wait, so what does this all mean? Is he literally gaslighting himself into thinking his coworkers are just too dumb to see a piece of architecture?
That is exactly what he is doing. He is literally self-gaslighting to avoid admitting he might be wrong.
That is wild. He takes the fact that nobody else can see it, which should be a terrifying warning sign, and turns it into the ultimate compliment.
Yes.
Like, you guys cannot see the room. Wow, it must really suck to be so painfully average.
It is a brilliant, if destructive, mental maneuver. He takes a moment of extreme vulnerability and weaponizes it to feed his superiority complex.
It's actually kind of impressive in a very dark way.
It is, and this is the exact point where his personal reality completely separates from the shared reality of the group. He is choosing a lonely personal reality over the shared reality of the office.
He creates a narrative where being isolated actually proves he is special.
He is no longer just a guy who does not fit in. He is a guy living in a parallel world.
And the social breakdown accelerates fast after this. The coworkers stop even trying to be polite.
You can't really blame them.
You can't. They stop engaging with him entirely. Some of them start actively mocking and avoiding him in the hallways.
It becomes a hostile environment.
Which, if we are being honest, makes total sense from their perspective. I mean, imagine trying to file paperwork, and there is a guy standing in the hallway, pressing his hand against a blank wall, pretending he is turning a doorknob.
And then just standing there with his eyes closed for 3 hours.
It is deeply unsettling.
It's terrifying. The isolation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. He built a mental fortress to keep the rejection out, but now that fortress is the very thing causing people to reject him.
The echo chamber is sealed.
Completely sealed.
Yeah.
He only hears his own logic, and there is no one left to challenge her who he actually respects.
But eventually, the rent comes due.
It always does.
You cannot just stand in a hallway staring at a wall for 8 hours a day on the taxpayer's dime. You have an actual job to do.
The real world demands an answer.
Yes, the physical world is going to demand a physical answer. And that brings us to the collision with management.
Because the bureaucracy has to step in. A government office operates on measurable results, not invisible architecture.
And his results are tanking.
Oh, completely. Bjorn's behavior starts severely ruining his actual job performance. He won't follow instructions.
Teamwork is completely dead.
Right. And his obsession with the room has gone from a weird personal quirk to a massive liability for the entire department.
Okay.
It's totally irrational to outsiders.
So management gets involved. HR calls him in for a meeting, which I just have to say has to be one of the most awkward HR meetings in human history.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall in that room.
Right. They sit him down and ask him what on earth is going on. From their point of view, Bjorn is talking about an imaginary room, acting defensive and disrupting the workplace.
And Bjorn naturally just confidently describes the room.
Like it's totally normal.
Yeah, he explains the desk, the quiet, and how much it helps his workflow. He is entirely serious. He literally thinks he is explaining a productivity hack to management.
And when management tells him in no uncertain terms that the room does not exist and his behavior is completely unacceptable, the friction just reaches its peak.
They represent the ultimate authority of shared reality. They are telling him that his special currency is worthless here.
So they hand him a final, direct ultimatum.
The breaking point.
They tell him he needs to stop talking about this imaginary room immediately. He needs to return to his actual desk, interact normally with his team, and do his work. Or face the consequences.
This means getting fired.
Exactly. He is forced to choose, right in that very moment, between keeping his livelihood in the real world or keeping his invisible sanctuary.
This is the ultimate test of his cognitive dissonance. If he backs down and agrees to work at his normal desk, he is admitting the room is not real.
Which means admitting he is not special.
Yes. And the psychological cost of that admission is simply too high for him to pay.
It's basically like he's refusing to take off his VR headset while the actual office building is burning down around him.
That is a perfect analogy. He's just playing his own game while the real world crashes.
So he chooses the room.
He does.
He refuses to back down or admit any fault. And as a direct result, he is fired. He loses his job entirely. He is just sitting there in his little virtual chair feeling superior while HR hands him a pink slip.
And, the tragedy of the ending really depends on which angle you view it from.
How so?
Well, if you look at it from the outside, from the perspective of management and the coworkers, this is a very sad story about a man who could not adapt.
Yeah, a guy who just lost his grip on reality.
Right. He threw away a stable, secure government job for a hallucination. He destroyed his own life because of sheer stubbornness and ego.
But from his perspective, inside his own head, he is the hero of the story.
Exactly. Unpack that for a second. From Björn's perspective, he is a martyr for his own brilliance.
Wow.
He stayed true to his sanctuary. He didn't let the quote-unquote average crowd bully him into giving up his gift.
So he didn't just get fired for bad work in his mind.
No. In his mind, he got fired because he flat out refused to conform to a lesser reality. He sacrificed his paycheck to protect the one place where he felt truly perfect, even if he was entirely alone inside of it.
That is so incredibly bleak. And the source material leaves us with a lingering ambiguity that makes the whole thing even more unsettling.
It really doesn't wrap it up with a bow.
It doesn't. Even after losing his job, even after being escorted out of the building, Bjorn never abandons his belief.
He never has that moment of clarity.
No, he never admits he made it up or realizes he was hallucinating. The story leaves us hanging with this massive question mark. Was the room real in some strange, unexplained way?
Did he tap into some weird dimensional space?
Right? Or was it 100% a product of his fractured mind from the very beginning?
And the genius of the story is that it does not give us a neat and tidy answer.
It refuses to let us off the hook.
What it does give us is the undeniable consequence of his choice. Whether the room was magic or just a total mental breakdown, the result is the exact same.
He ends up alone.
Yes. Bjorn chose his own version of reality over the shared reality of society. And the cost of that choice was absolute isolation.
It is a lot to wrap your head around. I mean, it really makes you look at your own work life a little differently.
It does make you wonder.
Think about it. Have you ever felt so disconnected from your team's way of thinking or your manager's vision that you might as well have been operating in a completely different room?
Just totally on a different wavelength.
You are sitting at the exact same table, looking at the exact same project, but you're just not seeing the same reality. We have all experienced that friction of feeling misunderstood.
But this story takes that everyday frustration and just pushes it to its absolute terrifying extreme.
It really does. We all crave a space where we are perfectly understood, perfectly focused, and perfectly productive.
And society constantly tells us to think differently, right? To be innovative, to have a unique point of view.
Exactly. But we all like to think differently and stand out from the crowd. But if we are all living in our own slightly different versions of reality, at what point does having a unique perspective cross the line into completely isolating yourself from the rest of humanity?
Can you be too independent of a thinker?
That is the question. If you are the only one who can see the walls of your space, are you a visionary or are you just talking to yourself? Something to think about the next time you go wandering down a quiet hallway, looking for a little peace and quiet.